When you think of giraffes, you probably picture those massive, elegant creatures moving slowly across the African savanna, nibbling leaves off the tallest trees with those ridiculously long necks and purple tongues. But here's something most people don't realize about giraffes, despite all their size, presence, and power. They are almost completely silent. Why? Because giraffes don't have vocal cords. That's right, these animals, some of the tallest on Earth, are essentially mute. No roaring like lions, no trumpeting like elephants, no howling like wolves. Just silence. And the crazy part is, most people don't even notice. You never really stop to wonder what a giraffe sounds like because you've never heard one. But once you know this, it completely changes the way you look at them. Unlike many other mammals, giraffes are built without the typical voice box, also called the larynx, that most animals use to create sounds. In most species, air passes through vocal cords in the larynx and creates vibrations. Those vibrations are shaped into sounds: growls, barks, chirps, roars. But in giraffes, the setup is different. They have no true vocal cords, and without them, there's no way to push air out and create a real voice. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. For a long time, people thought giraffes were completely silent because of this. But it turns out that's not the full story. Researchers have found that giraffes do make sounds, but not in the way you'd expect. They produce extremely low-frequency noises, so low, in fact, that they're beneath the range of human hearing. These are called infrasounds. Other animals like elephants and whales also use infrasound to communicate over long distances, and it seems giraffes do something similar. But because their sounds are so low and quiet, we can't pick them up without special equipment. Think about that for a second. These massive, powerful animals have been communicating with each other under the radar for centuries, and nobody really noticed until recently. They hum, they rumble, and they make sounds deep enough to vibrate the ground. But to the human ear, it all seems completely silent. It makes you wonder, what are they saying? Scientists believe giraffes may use these low sounds to coordinate movements across the herd, to maintain social bonds, or to warn each other about predators. Imagine moving across the African plains in total silence, but still being able to send signals to your group, invisible to anyone who might be watching or hunting you. It's like nature's version of stealth communication. There's another layer to this too. Some researchers have reported hearing giraffes make grunting, snorting, or moaning sounds, very rarely, and mostly under stress. But these noises are not made the same way typical mammal vocalizations are. They're more like air being forced out in a rush. Still, these sounds are the exception, not the rule. For the most part, giraffes rely on their body language, their movement, and this low-frequency communication to interact. And honestly, when you think about the lifestyle of a giraffe, being quiet makes perfect sense. They're huge, but surprisingly vulnerable to predators, especially lions. Silence is an advantage. They don't attract attention. They don't give away their location. Their camouflage, their spotted coat blending into the trees, and their silence work together to keep them hidden, despite being some of the most visible creatures on the planet. The idea that giraffes are silent also feeds into their overall mystique. There's something almost otherworldly about them. Their long, towering necks, their calm, almost regal way of moving, and the fact that they move through the world without a voice just adds to that feeling. They don't need to make noise. Their presence speaks loud enough. If you ever get the chance to observe giraffes up close, you'll notice they communicate a lot through physical cues. They move their heads in subtle ways. They flick their tails. They change their posture. A giraffe lowering its head slightly or adjusting its stance can send signals to others in the herd without a single sound. It's a reminder that not all communication needs to be loud. Some of the most effective communication is quiet, deliberate, and almost invisible to outsiders. And it's not just about survival. Giraffes have complex social structures. They form herds, but those herds are constantly changing. Members come and go. Mothers raise their young in loose groups called nurseries. Young males spar by swinging their necks and heads at each other, a behavior known as necking, to establish dominance. All of this goes on without roaring, barking, or any of the sounds we usually associate with big animals. The giraffe's silence teaches an important lesson about nature. It shows that being loud isn't always the best strategy. Sometimes power is quiet. Strength doesn't always announce itself. Some of the most successful creatures on Earth have learned to move through the world without drawing attention, communicating in ways that outsiders can't even perceive. So next time you see a giraffe, whether it's in a nature documentary or at a zoo, remember that you're looking at one of the quietest giants in the animal kingdom. You're seeing an animal that moves and communicates in near total silence. It's one of the many things that make giraffes not just fascinating, but truly unique in the animal world. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Until next time.